And they're doing it for allegedly your own benefit.
Yeah.
And what's crazy to me about this is, look, okay, so you're a medical doctor. If your research was funded by, Philip Morris or some big tobacco company, you would be required by most ethical journals to literally say this research was paid for by whatever, right? You're not required to do that with the National Science Foundation, the National Institutes of Health, or any of those organizations. So it's literally bought and paid for, and we're not even allowed to know that the government is paying for it. And government is like a funder, just like corporations. Of course, people aren't going to criticize their paymaster. Yeah. They'd be crazy to do it. So then, and also there's the ideological angle too, right? So like, you're not going to criticize your paymaster, and you're not going to criticize anything that's going to, hurt you down the line. Like Nature, the gold standard, Nature and Scientific American, they're the gold standard of research, allegedly. And they literally have editorial positions of not publishing things which, goes against it. They literally are endorsing candidates in U.S. elections. Yeah, they're saying, we need this person, not that person. If you read their justification, like a lot of it's crazy. So like, look, like their justification, I went back and I read it for the 2024 election for Kamala Harris was, she's the pro-vaccine candidate. What? Trump did the vaccine, and this video of Harris saying on video that like she doesn't trust the vaccine. So even if you are like anti-vaccine, this video of her saying the exact opposite, like this is crazy. It's tribal. It's entirely tribal, and it's entirely made up. And you're just basically being told to shut up and go away and, just listen to what your betters say. And all your betters, by the way, are working for EcoHealth Alliance in China. Right. Which I suspect might not have our best interest in mind.
No, it's funny. I think people understood this better when there were actual kings and queens, and they claimed divine right, and you believed that. So if they were the living embodiment of God, it was appropriate, say, and probably good for your health to bend knee and bow. And if you were obsequious enough and unctuous, you would get some, commission into the army or whatever, and you would get fed. Your family would get fed in the favor of the Duke, Duchess, Earl, Countess, et al. It's not shocking that kind of that's the system you wind up with, even though you start with, let's say, a constitutional republic. It seems to be a little bit of the default position of our, tribal grouping. Get a bunch of walruses. There's going to be some walrus, and he may be right or might be wrong, but he's the one everyone's, essentially going to be listening to one way or another. He managed to beat up the other guys. They respect him. He gets his harem of gals, and he says they go on this next track. They do. So I think it's, somewhat built into the DNA, as it were. But, I think we aspire better.
It's actually worse than what you're saying, in my opinion. So like, imagine theoretically that there was a Pfizer laboratory, right? And their mission statement is that Pfizer drugs have no side effects, and everyone in their staff who went into pharmacology, they specifically did so because to crusade against the evil of believing that Pfizer drugs have side effects. Would you as a medical doctor accept that study if that was literally their mission statement? Probably not, right? And we know this for a fact that a lot of research, like including medical research, especially medical research by drug companies, turns up the wrong answer simply through the file drawer effect. Like the big studies that are exciting and like, this is going to cure cancer. The results that everyone wants to hear, they get published, and the rest of the ones that the negative doesn't, because nobody wants to hear that, right? Yeah. And you can, with modern statistics and even like a vague understanding of modern statistics, basically for most social science and increasingly for harder sciences, something called the confidence interval, which basically means something is 95% likely to be true, right? So if you run the same experiment 20 times, you're going to have it true once, right? Just by math. That's just how the math works. That's rolling the dice enough, you're going to get a thing. So what they do is they roll the dice until they get the result, and they publish that. And sometimes not even that's enough. There was a really great story in the New York Times, I know, like incredible, right? In which there was I think it was the trans one, right? And they had spent some ridiculous amount of money trying to prove that this reduced the suicide rate, and they couldn't get the numbers to say that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they didn't publish the numbers. And it's like, guys, this is not science. That's like that's politics.
Yeah.
You just don't want to believe what you say, you know?
If you like this video, check out the full interview. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you get notified every time a new video is uploaded. Thanks for watching.